Right now at 5 today is Cyber Monday, and we are giving you tips for being safe online.
And we've got a bit of a foggy, cool start for our Monday. What does the rest of the week hold? We're going to tell you coming up.
Also, Frontenac gets into the holiday spirit and lights up its downtown.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a little bit on the foggy side this morning.
I noticed that while driving today.
Yeah, and you and I, so it was kind of strange. You somehow ended up right behind me on the drive into work today. And we both got to see, and I don't know if anybody you got to see it, there was a meteor this morning.
It was so beautiful.
I was incredible.
Shocked.
It was just awesome to see. So if you saw it, you count yourself lucky because it was very cool. It was very brief, but it was there. So.
It was near the, I was crossing the state border from Missouri to Kansas.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw it was like green at first, orange, and then yellow. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Now, the good news is no meteors in our immediate area right now, but we have a lot of things that we're going to have to deal with over the next 24 hours. Number one is going to be this wind. As we go into this evening, winds will start to increase, and we could see gusts upwards of about 30 miles an hour. Then check out as we head into tomorrow. We're looking at wind gusts out of the south pushing 50 miles an hour. And then they'll eventually try and start to calm down as we head into Wednesday. So today and tomorrow is a neighbor's yard kind of day for your trash can. Now, the Skywatch Storm Tracker on the local level is clear, but you can see for northeast Oklahoma and parts of northwest Arkansas, we do have a dense fog advisory through 9 o'clock this morning, and this is what visibilities are looking like. Look at Pittsburgh, only half-mile visibility. We're looking at 3.9 miles in Miami, so do give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going this morning. 32 in Joplin, so I know that some of that fog froze on my windshield this morning, so do be prepared for that as well. Temperatures across the region are on the cold side. 32 in Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, 27 Chanute, 31 Miami, and 32 in Neosho. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and range line. Looks good. Got a green light for that morning drive. Do watch out for some patchy fog, though. Otherwise, we're mostly clear, and we're going to be mostly clear with some clouds increasing for your evening drive. We'll see some of those gusty winds, but they shouldn't be a significant issue for the drive home. All right, kids, back to school today. Some of them not so excited. 34 at 7 a.m. and then by the time they get home, 56 degrees, and we'll start to see those winds picking up. We're mostly clear for the majority of the day, looking at a high of 55 degrees. As we go into this evening, we'll hit another early low of about 44 degrees. Clouds will increase, wind will increase, and temperatures will steadily increase towards sunrise. We'll take a look at our next system coming in tomorrow and tell you what it will or will not do for us, and the full 7-day forecast here in a couple of minutes.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, Chris. On Sunday evening, the Parsons Police Department were dispatched to the 1100 block of South 26th Street for a reported domestic fight that took place. Dispatch advised that the subject, Joshua Cole Sharp, has fled the scene. When officers arrived, they were given a vehicle description of a brown Chevy pickup being driven by the suspect. Sergeant Tony Adamson spotted a vehicle with the lone occupant matching a Sharp in 1000 block of the 21st Street. Adamson followed the vehicle and tried to initiate a traffic stop at the 7th Street and Main. The vehicle fled north at a high rate of speed, failing to stop at all intersections. The truck attempted to turn east onto Southeast Avenue, but left the road and struck a tree on the westbound side of the road. It is believed that Sharp jumped from the truck and fled on foot. A search of the area on foot using a K9 failed to locate the suspect. If you have any information regarding Sharp's location or spot him, the Parsons PD encourages you to call them at 620-421-7060. A judge sentenced a Coffeyville, Kansas man for second-degree murder. Donald Collins gets 18 years in prison for the death of 50-year-old Nina Lee of Coffeyville back in February of 2020. That's when Lee was found dead at a Parsons, Kansas motel. Authorities were called there for a report of a potential overdose, but an autopsy indicated there was foul play. Cyber Monday is here. It's always good to watch for those red flags when shopping online. The Better Business Bureau wants to remind people to stay safe and avoid getting scammed while shopping online. Since COVID, the pandemic started, more and more people are shopping online. Pamela Hernandez, the regional director of Better Business Bureau, says a recent study found online shopping fraud is up 87%, and about 36% of the online shopping fraud, based on what customers have told them, originates from fake websites. She advises people to look for any red flags before purchasing so their information does not get into the wrong hands.
Anytime you're purchasing something, they start asking you for information, which for legitimate purchase they're going to need. So that's the kind of information that someone can get. And once they have your credit card number, of course, that's where people can start to lose money.
The BBB reminds people to be mindful when scrolling social media ads and remember to take time and do their research before clicking buy. The city of Frontenac celebrates the beginning of the holiday season with a Christmas light ceremony. The city lit up downtown Frontenac with a special ceremony so citizens were able to listen to the elementary, junior, high, and high school choirs as they lit up the downtown lights. Following the choir and Frontenac Raider Band's performance, citizens were able to meet Santa Claus himself with Mrs. Claus. Residents were also offered hot chocolate and cookies. Seth Nutt says it takes a couple months to plan the early event.
I think just seeing the excitement on the kids' face and getting to see Santa Claus, it just gets everybody in the mood for the season.
Nutt says the city has hosted the event for about 20 years. Now that Black Friday is over, Small Business Saturday starts. Small Business Saturday has been growing in popularity throughout the nation. Carthage Chambers of Commerce is encouraging the community to shop at small local businesses on Saturday. More than 20 local businesses are participating with discounts, free gifts, and more.
Everybody knows that small businesses, they really employ a large force throughout the nation. Here in Carthage on the square, being a small business is hometown service. The customers come through the door. We not only know their name, but we generally know the project they're working on.
Shoppers can collect 15 stamps from visiting small businesses and can turn those stamps in at Carthage Commerce to enter a prize drawing.
All right, sunrise today, 7:10 in the morning, and the sun will set at 5:02 this evening. Now for that 7-day. So we have a very low-end chance of maybe a stray shower or two tomorrow. Look at how warm we get, though, 64, despite the 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. But those wind gusts ushering in a cold front. Look at what it does to our lows. We drop down to 25 degrees Tuesday night. We will start to rebound as we head into the upcoming weekend, but as we head into the weekend, we're also watching some additional shower chances. So much needed rain for us across the area, but we got a big cool down coming as we head into the next, say, 36 hours or so.
That's a look at today's morning's top stories and weather in your first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Chiefs face off against the Rams this weekend. We'll have who won the game in sports.
Plus, today is Cyber Monday, and people are expected to spend big this year.
And 1 billion adults are at risk for hearing loss. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
It's week 11 of the NFL season, and the Kansas City Chiefs not only have a big lead in the AFC West, but they also own the best record in the AFC. The 8-2 Chiefs are home this week, looking for their 5th straight win. Kansas City hosting the Los Angeles Rams. First quarter, Travis Kelce picks up right where he left off last week. 39-yard touchdown. Chiefs out in front. Later, Patrick Mahomes finds Isaiah Pacheco for a 17-yard gain. Chiefs in the red zone. Pacheco finishes the drive, gets in from 3 yards out. It's now 20-3 Chiefs. Fourth quarter now. Bryce Perkins connects with Van Jefferson. Kansas City still leads by double digits. Then Perkins' pass is tipped by Carlos Dunlap. Nick Bolton comes away with the interception, his second in 2 games, and Chiefs win 26-10.
The defense kept us in the game, got some turnovers for us, got some big stops after some turnovers that we made. But especially in the red zone, we got to execute at a higher level. I got to execute at a higher level, and I got to stop. I got to take out like the one dumb play I make every game, it seems like. I was going to throw it to Trav, and then at the last second, I didn't think I could get it in. It was one of those, like, I tried to pull it down a little bit, and I threw it directly into the dude's stomach. So just got to make sure that I don't do that, especially in the red zone, because those are ones that kill you in big games. And so obviously you'd like to win. But we got a lot to get better at offensively, especially starting with me.
The Carthage Tigers season came to an end on Saturday in the Class 5 state semifinals. Francis Howell jumped out to a 21-point lead and hung on to beat Carthage 35-13. Luke Gall scored both of the Tigers' touchdowns, including that one there, 51-yard touchdown run. Carthage finishes the year with an 11-2 record and graduates its biggest senior class in history.
21 seniors that have been in the program for 4 years, and you know they just do everything right. They show up every single day. They come to work. They have great attitudes. They're very coachable. They're a very close group, and that doesn't happen all the time. So when it does, it's a pretty special thing, and there's no denying that these guys have been very successful.
Still to come, a former NASA astronaut visits Kyiv, Ukraine, plus another check of your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Time for a little weather trivia for you today. And the tri-state tornado was the deadliest tornado ever to hit the United States. How many people were killed by this tornado? Was it 317, 563, 255, or 695? What do you think about that? We're going to take a look at what we've got going on with us today. As we head into the evening, winds will increase. We're looking at gusts from 20 to 30 miles an hour into tonight. And as we head into the overnight and tomorrow morning, look at these wind gusts pushing 50 miles an hour ahead of our next system. And we don't get a big break from these winds for a little while here. It's not until Wednesday morning. So we're looking at a neighbor's yard kind of situation for your trash can. And make sure your Christmas inflatables are secured. And honestly, I would not recommend inflating them as we head into tonight. We also have some fog to deal with. We got a dense fog advisory for northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas until 9 o'clock this morning. And here's why. Look at some of these visibilities, like Pittsburgh, for example, only a half-mile visibility. So if you're driving, give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going, because there are some patchy spots of pretty dense fog out there. 32 right now in Joplin under otherwise clear skies. We're cold across the region. 32 Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, 30 in Lamar, 27 Chanute, 28 Pittsburgh, 31 in Miami, and 32 in Neosho. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. Looks good. Got a green light for your morning drive, but again, beware of that fog if you are traveling this morning. Otherwise, mostly clear and cold, and a green light for the drive home as we're mostly clear and we get back into the 40s. Kids getting on the bus, I'm sure they're not too excited about this. 34 at 7 a.m., mostly clear skies, and mostly clear 56 by 3 o'clock. And that's roughly what our high is expected to be today, so a pretty decent day lining up for us, aside from the wind. Wind will increase tonight. We drop back down to an overnight low of 44 degrees, and then we'll start to warm up as we head towards sunrise. Now, the answer to our question, if you picked D, you were right. 695 people were killed. Tri-state tornado hit in 1925, going through Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. Also had the longest track of any tornado on the ground for 219 miles. We'll get those keyboards primed and ready. The Cyber Monday deals are here, and Americans are expected to spend big. Ted Lindner has more on just how much consumers are shelling out, even with inflation stubbornly high. Plus, a look at the strategies retailers may use to try and get you to spend even more.
A whopping $11.2 billion. That's how much Adobe Analytics estimates Americans will shell out this Cyber Monday. A potential increase of more than 5% from last year's shopping extravaganza.
I'm planning to buy a laptop. If I get more discount, then I'll end up buying more stuff.
Even in the midst of persistently high inflation, consumers may meet Adobe's spending predictions, with Black Friday offering some insight. The company reports online Black Friday sales exceeded $9.1 billion alone. It's a new record.
We're looking for the sales, pinching the pennies, but we're making it happen.
Inflation really impacted a lot. That's why I was waiting for Cyber Monday to grab that discount.
When it comes to enticing consumers to spend even more, marketing experts predict retailers will bundle deals and capitalize on FOMO, or people's fear of missing out.
For example, retailers may encourage you to buy a pair of earbuds along with the laptop to save even more money, and to use fear of missing out by telling you, oh, well, if you don't buy these earbuds, you don't really get to experience the full depth of this laptop experience.
Now, while the Cyber Monday deals may look good, analysts say using internet browser extension services are a quick and easy way to find additional coupon codes to earn more savings. That brings us to our question for you. How much are you planning to spend for Cyber Monday? 0 to $50, 50 to 100, 100 to 200, or $200 or more. We want to hear from you. Make sure you vote through our website, through the app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, more than 1 billion young people around the world are at risk of suffering from hearing loss, according to research published this week. But if changes are made now, experts say hearing loss can be prevented. Manny Gaither has more on how to protect your hearing.
It's a sense that's crucial to many aspects of your health, but hearing loss is common.
It allows us to stay social and involved and connected, and it has been connected to cognitive decline.
According to a new study published in BMJ Global Health, more than 1 billion young people ages 12 to 34 are at risk of hearing loss worldwide from listening too loudly to things like music and movies.
We have one set of ears for a lifetime. Those delicate sensory cells currently can't be regrown, they can't be repaired. And so really the only way that we can prevent hearing loss 100% of the time is to protect ourselves from loud, damaging sound.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention limits safe noise levels at around 85 decibels over 40 hours a week. The study says those listening to MP3 files on a smartphone often choose volumes as high as 105 decibels. Cleveland Clinic audiologist Sarah Sidlowski says to prevent hearing loss from devices, turn the volume down.
A good sign that the device is too loud is if somebody standing next to you can hear what you're listening to. It's too much.
If you're around sounds and can't control the volume, like at work or at a concert, Sidlowski says to use well-fitting earplugs. Some can be custom made.
There are certain devices that allow certain sounds in and block others.
And if you can't protect your ears from loud noises, Sidlowski says to walk further away from the source.
Solowski says there are sound level meter apps available for download on your smartphone that can help you stay at 85 decibels. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching KOAM Morning News.
Well, we've got some dense fog to deal with across the area, even some dense fog advisories out there, so if you're driving, do be aware of that. We're also pretty cold to start the day. Some of that fog was freezing on my car this morning, probably is on yours as well, so be prepared for that. 32 in Joplin right now. Temperatures across the region, again, as I mentioned, are cold. 29 Neodesha, 27 in Chanute, 28 Pittsburgh, 31 Miami, and 32 in Neosho. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. Looks good so far. Got a green light for the morning drive, but do be aware of the patchy fog. We're otherwise mostly clear and right around freezing, and a green light for the afternoon drive. We'll see some wind gusts up to about 20 miles an hour, but will otherwise be mostly clear. Kids getting on the bus this morning, heading back to school, 34 degrees and mostly clear, and then when they get home, the winds start picking up a bit, 56 and mostly clear. Highs today looking to push into the mid-50s for us with those mostly clear skies. Winds increase tonight. We hit an early low of 44, and then temperatures will begin to rise again towards sunrise, and the winds will increase as well. We'll be right back after this, but first, here's a live look at the Frontenac Christmas lights.
Right now at 5:30 today is Cyber Monday, and we're going to give you some tips for being safe online.
Well, we've got a pretty decent start to the day, some patchy, dense fog out there, and it's going to get windy. We're going to break it all down coming up.
Also, Frontenac gets into the holiday spirit and lights up its downtown.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:28. I am Amber Jenkins.
And I'm Chris Warner. So a little bit foggy out there, a little bit cold out there this morning. And for some reason, I could not say Frontenac Christmas lights.
Are you tripped up, but you recovered
I don't
well?
know what happened there. So, but we'll have another look at them later in the show as well. But Frontenac Christmas lights. That's what it said, and that is not what I said.
Good recovery. Good recovery.
I tried. It was bad. Just about derailed right there. All right, so on to the weather. We got a couple of things to worry about today. Well, actually, one thing really to worry about. We got the fog this morning, then this afternoon, and late this evening, as you can see, winds start gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. And then check out this. As we head into tomorrow morning, we're looking at wind gusts pushing 50 miles an hour. So it definitely is a neighbor's yard kind of day for your trash can. Not just your trash can. If you've got inflatables out there set up for Christmas, I would not recommend inflating them tonight, as the winds will increase as we head into the overnight hours. Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear, but it is showing us a dense fog advisory for parts of northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas through 9 this morning. And here's why. We got patchy dense fog across the area. Visibility is reduced. Pittsburgh, for example, at 1.2 miles for visibility. Earlier, they were at a half-mile visibility. So if you're traveling, do give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. 32 in Joplin right now under otherwise clear skies. Cold across the area as we've got 29 Neodesha, 27 in Chanute, 28 Pittsburgh, 32 Lamar and Carthage, and 31 in Miami. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline. Looking good so far. Green light for the morning drive, but do be aware of some of that patchy fog out there. And a green light for the drive home because we'll be mostly clear in the 40s, and the winds will only be gusting about 15-20 miles an hour by the time you drive home. It's not until late tonight they really pick up. Kids getting on the bus, 34 degrees, mostly clear skies. When that bus brings them home around 3, we're looking at 56. Highs today heading into the mid-50s for us, so not a bad day. Mostly clear skies otherwise. And as we head into this evening, we hit an early low of 44, and the temperatures begin to rise as we head towards sunrise. Clouds also increase towards sunrise, and as you saw on the wind tracker, winds really increase towards sunrise. We're going to talk about our Tuesday forecast, what happens with this system, and what the rest of the week looks like here in a couple of minutes.
Sounds good, Chris. Thank you. A judge sentences a Coffeyville, Kansas man for second-degree murder. Donald Collins gets 18 years in prison for the death of 50-year-old Nina Lee of Coffeyville back in February of 2020. That's when Lee was found dead at a Parsons, Kansas motel. Authorities were called there for a potential overdose, but an autopsy indicated that there was foul play. On Sunday evening, the Parsons Police Department was dispatched to the 1100 block of the South 26th Street for a reported domestic fight that took place. Dispatch advised that the suspect, Joshua Cole Sharp, had fled the scene. When officers arrived, they were given a vehicle description of a brown Chevy pickup being driven by the suspect. Sergeant Tony Adamson spotted a vehicle with a lone occupant matching the Sharp in the 1000 block of 21st Street. Adamson followed the vehicle and tried to initiate a traffic stop at the 7th and Main. The vehicle fled north at the high rate speed, failing to stop at all intersections. The truck attempted to turn east onto East Gabriel Avenue, but left the road and struck a tree on the westbound side of the road. It is believed that Sharp jumped from the truck and fled on foot. A search of the area on foot using canines has failed to locate the suspect. If you have any information regarding Sharp's location or spot him, the Parsons PD encourages you to call them at 620-421-7060. Cyber Monday is here, and it's always good to watch out for the red flags when shopping online. The Better Business Bureau wants to remind people to stay safe and avoid getting scammed while shopping online. Since the COVID pandemic started, more and more people are shopping online. Pamela Hernandez, the regional director of Better Business Bureau, says a recent study found online shopping fraud is up 87%, and about 30% of the online shopping fraud, based on what customers have told them, originates from fake websites. She advises people to look for any red flags before purchasing so their information does not get into the wrong hands.
Anytime you're purchasing something, they start asking you for information, which for legitimate purchase they're going to need. So that's the kind of information that someone can get. And once they have your credit card number, of course, that's where people can start to lose money.
The BBB reminds people to be mindful when scrolling social media ads and to remember to take time to do their research before clicking buy. The city of Frontenac celebrated the beginning of the holiday season with a Christmas light ceremony. The city lit up downtown Frontenac with a special ceremony earlier yesterday. Citizens were able to listen to the elementary and high school choirs as they lit up the downtown lights. Following the choir and Frontenac band's performance, citizens were able to meet Santa Claus himself with Mrs. Claus. Residents were also offered hot cocoa and cookies. Self Nut says it takes a couple months to plan the yearly event.
Sponsored by the city of Frontenac, and then the Mining Days committee members help to staff the event.
Nutt says the city hosted the event for about 20 years. The Pittsburgh Wrestling Club is raising money for its club as the sport is booming in the city. The nonprofit Pittsburgh Wrestling Club launched its fundraiser for high school and youth wrestling club yesterday. This year, the club is selling popcorn online for Christmas. President of the club says the fundraiser is a way for the club to raise money and take care of the athletes.
Time we're doing this. Last year we did like a Subway fundraiser, and this year we're trying something new with the popcorn. Our high school team did this online fundraiser last year, and I think we raised like $7 grand. So we hope to duplicate that and do better this year.
Davis says the club will participate in Pittsburgh Christmas parade today. They're going to have high school and youth wrestlers together in a dragon wrestling float to represent their program. Cities nationwide is highlighting their local businesses in this Small Business Saturday. KOAM spoke to small businesses in Carthage to see how small businesses on Saturday affects them. Carthage Chamber of Commerce is encouraging the community to shop at small businesses during Small Business Saturday.
Anytime the city's involved or the chamber's involved to help push businesses, ours and others here locally, that's always good.
More than 20 small businesses in Carthage are offering discounts, free gifts, and more.
Everybody knows that small businesses, they really employ a large force throughout the nation. Here in Carthage on the square, being a small business is hometown service. The customers come through the door. We not only know their name, but we generally know the project they're working on.
The small business community is tight-knitted, often supporting each other's businesses.
And if we can't provide it, we actually have other businesses in the area that we partner with and say, hey, let's go down here and see if we can get you some help over here. So the small town community or the small business community that grows together is really going to survive together.
Small Business Saturday is especially helpful for local businesses recovering from economic hardship.
It takes a special kind of owner to be successful with a business, to be able to relate to customers and to grow the business, especially in times that are kind of uncertain, like with COVID and all the things with the economic situation that we're facing with.
Shoppers were able to pick up a Carthage Shoppers card from any of the 23 participating businesses and at the Carthage Chamber of Commerce. Once shoppers visit 15 of those stores, they receive a special holiday stamp which will allow them to enter a drawing for a prize. This morning we are discussing Cyber Monday.
A whopping $11.2 billion. That's how much Adobe Analytics estimates Americans will shell out this Cyber Monday, a potential increase of more than 5% from last year's shopping extravaganza.
Even in the midst of high inflation, consumers may meet Adobe's spending predictions, with Black Friday offering some insight. The company reports online Black Friday sales exceeded $9.1 billion alone. It's a new record. When it comes to enticing consumers to spend even more, marketing experts predict the retailers will bundle deals and capitalize on FOMO, or people's fear of missing out.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. How much are you planning to spend on Cyber Monday? And kind of like on Black Friday, so far 100% of you say you're going to spend between $0 and $50. Your choices also include $50 to $100, $100 to $200, and $200 or more. So make sure you vote through our website, through the app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. Quick look at the 7-day forecast. So we start out tomorrow. There's this chance of a stray shower or two. Very windy, 64. And then after that front moves through, look at that low, 25 degrees Tuesday night, only 40 on Wednesday. We start to recover toward the end of the week, and then we see some additional rain chances moving in by this coming Friday.
That's a look at our top news stories coming up in this half hour of KOAM Morning News. We'll take you to Michigan to meet a blind bowling league that's celebrating its 50th anniversary.
Plus, Cubans honor the 6th year of Fidel Castro's death. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News, more real news in the morning. Topping World Watch. Former American NASA astronaut and ambassador for Ukraine's United 24 fundraiser platform, Scott Kelly, made a visit to Irpin in Kyiv region as a children's hospital. During his hospital visit, Kelly gave out NASA badges which brought from his annual trip to the International Space Station. In return, the children gave him a gift, a drawing of an astronaut in space. North Korea leader Kim Jong-un said that his country aims to have the world's most powerful nuclear force. This comes as he promoted dozens of the military personnel involved with the recent launch of a new ballistic missile. Kim Jong-un says these officials and scientists demonstrated to the world and the confidence that the country has in advancing towards the goal of building the world's strongest army. This announcement also comes after North Korea said it conducted a test firing of a new kind of ICBM on November 18th that is theoretically capable of delivering a nuclear warhead to the U.S. mainland. North Korea releasing new photos of Kim Jong-un's, quote, most beloved child. The North Korean leader took his daughter, who is speculated to be his second child, to meet with the missile scientist, smiling and posing in photos together. State media calls his daughter North Korea's, quote, most beloved child, raising the question of whether she is being primed as his successor. She is believed to be around 9 or 10 years old, and the photo shoot marks their second public appearance. Cubans honors late President Fidel Castro in Havana Friday, 6 years after his death. A celebration taking place at the University of Havana, attended by students and members of the Communist Party leadership. Those in attendance calling Castro a revolutionary and hailing his ideas. Castro, who was the youngest leader in Latin America when he took over in 1959, died in 2016 at the age of 90. His brother Raul succeeded him before stepping down in 2018. That's a look at some of the biggest headlines around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
And we're going to see winds begin to increase as we head through the day, pushing 15, 20 miles an hour by this afternoon and gusting to around 30 by 8 tonight. And as we head into the overnight and into tomorrow morning, we got winds gusting upwards of 50 miles an hour. So definitely make sure your trash can is secured, and I would not recommend inflating your Christmas display inflatables tonight. We also have fog to deal with. Dense fog advisory, northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas through 9 a.m. And you can see on the fog tracker, visibility is improving in some locations, but we still have some patchy dense fog out there. And it is cold as we start the day, 32 degrees in Joplin under otherwise clear skies. We are cold across the area, 29 Neodesha, 27 Chanute and Pittsburgh, 32 Lamar and Carthage, and 32 in Grove, 31 in Miami. Live look at the MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line. Green light for your morning drive. Do be wary of the patchy fog out there. Otherwise, we're mostly clear and in the 30s. Green light for the drive home. Gusty winds won't be too gusty in the early evening, so be mostly clear and in the 40s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, chilly, 34 degrees, mostly clear. When the bus brings them back, right around 56 degrees, mostly clear with those winds gusting to 20. Heading for highs in the mid-50s, mostly clear skies across the area. We hit an early low of 44 degrees, and then temperatures, clouds, and wind will all start to increase as we head towards sunrise tomorrow morning. As we look at the 7 days, so we're 64 for the high, maybe a stray shower or two tomorrow, and then look, we drop back down to 25, only 40 on Wednesday. We begin to recover heading into the end of the week, but as we do so, we also are watching additional rain chances building in by this weekend. We have more of the KOAM morning news after this, but first, here's a live look at the Frontenac Christmas lights.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A judge sentences a Coffeyville, Kansas man for second-degree murder. Don Collins gets 18 years in prison for the death of 50-year-old Nina Lee of Coffeyville back in February of 2020. That's when Lee was found dead at a Parsons, Kansas motel. Authorities were called there for a potential overdose, but an autopsy indicated that there was foul play. Cyber Monday is here. It is always good to watch out for the red flags when shopping online. The Better Business Bureau wants to remind people to stay safe and avoid getting scammed while shopping online. Since the COVID pandemic started, more and more people are shopping online. Pamela Hernandez, Regional Director of Better Business Bureau, says a recent study found online shopper fraud is up 87%, and about 36% of the online shopper fraud, based on what customers have told them, originates from fake websites. She advises people to look for any red flags before purchasing so their information doesn't get in the wrong hands. City of Frontenac celebrated the beginning of the holiday season with a Christmas light ceremony. The city lit up downtown Frontenac with a special ceremony yesterday. Citizens were able to listen to the elementary, junior high, and high school choirs as they lit up the downtown lights. Following the choir and Frontenac band performance, citizens were able to meet Santa Claus himself with Mrs. Claus. Residents were also offered hot cocoa and cookies. Seth Nutt says it takes a couple months to plan the yearly event. And the Pittsburgh wrestling team is fundraising money for its club as the sport is booming in the city. The nonprofit Pittsburgh Wrestling Club launched its fundraiser for a high school and youth wrestling club yesterday. This year, the club is selling popcorn online for Christmas. The president of the club says the fundraiser is a way for the club to raise money to take care of the athletes. That's a check for today's top headlines and news you need to know before you head out the door.
Got some patchy dense fog out there, otherwise clear skies, 32 degrees in Joplin, cold across the area as we start our Monday. 29 Neodesha, 25 Parsons, 31 Chetopa, Miami, 32 Neosho, Carthage, and Lamar. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and range line, looks good. Green light for your morning drive, but do be aware of the patchy fog. We're otherwise mostly clear and in the 30s. Green light for the drive home. Winds could gust upwards of 20, but not as bad as they're going to get. Mostly clear in the 40s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, going to be chilly, 34 degrees at 7 a.m. and when they get home, sitting in right about 56. Heading for highs in the mid-50s today, mostly clear skies, so not a bad day overall. But tonight, winds, clouds, and temperatures will increase. Early low of 44, temperatures begin to rise, and we're looking at wind gusts pushing about 50 miles an hour as we head into tonight, into tomorrow morning. 64 tomorrow, maybe a stray shower. That cold front comes through, 25 for the low, only 40 Wednesday. We start to recover heading into the weekend, but we also are watching increasing rain chances as we head into this weekend. Got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News coming up, but first, here's another live look at the Frontenac Christmas lights.
A bowling league for the blind in Michigan is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year.
In addition to knocking down the pens, the bowlers are also taking down stereotypes. Priya Mann explains.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it is 50 years. Oh my gosh.
Carla Fields has been a member of the Macomb Blind Bowling League since the 70s.
I'm not a very good bowler, but I enjoy doing it. And I enjoy being with my friends, and it's getting out and doing things and having a good time.
The team has been meeting at Fraser Star Lanes in East Point every Wednesday since 1998.
This is my freedom. This is where I can, like I says, my day off, come in and have some fun, and shoot the breeze with everybody, have a couple cold pops, and then go on home.
The league is celebrating 50 years this year.
A lot of the people that started this up 50 years ago, unfortunately, aren't around anymore, but they set the basis that started this league, and we're just fortunate to keep it going every year.
It's been a safe space for the blind and visually impaired to bowl, compete, and have fun.
All in the game. Oh my God! Just because you're visually impaired does not mean that you can't bowl, because we do have guide rails that you can, a person can follow if need be along the approach.
Over the decades, their numbers have dwindled from a peak of 60 members to 16 today.
I always invite anybody that's interested to come in and give it a try. Never say you can't do anything unless you've tried it.
For this league to be around for so many years, I am surprised. I really am. You may not have as many people as we used to, but it's beautiful that we are still hanging in there.
They're hoping new members will join and carry on the league's legacy.
If you don't let the disability take over you, and you can have fun with it.
They think they're finished. Okay, they believe that there's nothing else that they can do. And to know that, oh, you mean tell me y'all have a blind bowling league? You mean, are you saying that seriously, that the blind people can actually bowl? And so it made me feel great.
It's amazing, and I hope we continue to grow and have lots more years to come.
The league is encouraging visually impaired people in the Detroit area to consider stopping by on a Wednesday.
The cost to bowl is just $10, and the games usually get underway about 11:30 a.m. An absolutely incredible story. That's what I love about this little segment here. We always bring you some pretty incredible stories. And we've got a pretty incredible story in the weather forecast. We'll break it down when we come back. As we head into the evening, winds are going to increase. We're looking at gusts later tonight up towards of about 30 miles an hour, and that's nothing compared to what we'll see overnight and into tomorrow morning, as wind gusts could reach 50 miles an hour. So an absolutely windy day ahead of us. This is a trash can in the neighbor's yard kind of situation. And again, the winds are going to increase overnight. So if you've got outdoor inflatables for your Christmas display, I highly recommend against inflating them tonight. We also have some dense fog to worry about. Dense fog advisories, northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas until 9 a.m. As you can see, visibility starting to improve slightly for some of us, so that's good news, but we still have patchy dense fog out there, so give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going this morning. 32 degrees under clear skies in Joplin. Cold temperatures across the area. 32 Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Lamar, Carthage. We had 31 Miami, 27 Pittsburgh, and 31 in Monette. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line looks good. Morning green light for your morning drive. Watch out for the patchy fog. Otherwise, we're mostly clear and in the 30s. And a green light for the drive home. We'll see the winds start to gust upwards 15, 20 miles an hour, but they won't be that bad for your drive home, at least not yet. We're mostly clear and in the 40s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, not too bad. 34 degrees, so they're definitely going to need a coat. And then 56 by the time they get home, and the winds start to increase a bit. Highs in the mid-50s today, mostly clear skies. The winds increase tonight, clouds increase tonight, and temperatures will rise overnight as well. An early low of 44, then temperatures gradually rise towards sunrise as the winds pick up out of the south, again gusting upwards of 50 miles an hour. 64 tomorrow, maybe a stray shower or two. We drop back down to a low of 25 degrees. 40 on Wednesday. We start to recover heading into the weekend, then we see additional shower chances by this weekend as well. Got more of the KOAM Morning News coming right up.
Right now at 6, authorities rescue an elderly man from a frigid Missouri creek, and body camera footage shows the dramatic details.
Got a pretty decent start to our Monday morning with some patchy dense fog out there, but big changes in the forecast. We're going to tell you about them coming up.
Also, today closes out the holiday shopping weekend with Cyber Monday, but be aware of online scams. KOAM-owned Yana Hatala talks to the Better Business Bureau about ways you can protect yourself while shopping online.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. It's 6 o'clock on this Monday morning. It is a cold Monday morning.
Very chilly, very chilly.
Very chilly out there. I think some of that fog was freezing my windshield, so if you haven't gone out yet, you may need to preheat your car just a wee bit. It's not a thick glaze, but there's some frost on the windshields for sure this morning. As we head into today, we've got a couple of things we're watching. First off is these winds. Later today, we're looking at gusts 15, 20 miles an hour. As we head into tonight, they start to pick up to 30, and then look at this. We're looking at wind gusts pushing 50 miles an hour as we head into the overnight hours and tomorrow morning ahead of our next system. So definitely make sure your trash can is secured. I've been saying it all morning. If you've got some outside Christmas inflatables, do not inflate them tonight because they will be gone by morning. Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear, but we do have some dense fog advisories for northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas through 9 o'clock this morning. And you can see on the visibility tracker, we've seen some improvements and we've seen some declines, some patchy dense fog out there. So make sure you give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. 32 degrees in Joplin right now, otherwise clear skies aside from the fog. Cold across the area, 26 Chanute, 28 Pittsburgh, 32 Carthage, and 31 in Miami. MoDOT camera at I-44 Range Line looks good. Green light for the morning drive, but be wary of that patchy fog, and a green light for the drive home. Will be mostly clear in the 40s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, cold one, grab that coat, 34 degrees. And when they get home, though, they can put the coat in their backpack. We're looking at about 56 degrees, mostly clear. Highs today, pushing the mid-50s under those mostly clear skies, so not bad. And as we head into tonight, an early low of 44. And the temperatures begin to slowly creep up towards sunrise. Clouds will increase towards sunrise. And, of course, as we mentioned, the winds by the time we wake up pushing 50 miles an hour. We're going to take a look at this system that's coming in tomorrow and what it's going to do for us, and really what it's not going to do for us as well, and the rest of the 7-day forecast here in a couple of minutes.
I don't know about you, but I'm tired of the wind.
I am. You know, it seems like a thing. Anytime we have a decent day around the 4 states with temperatures, there's always that hurricane force wind blowing out there to go along with it.
Well, thank you, Chris. A judge sentences a Coffeyville, Kansas man for a second-degree murder. Donald Collins gets 18 years in prison for the death of 50-year-old Nina Lee of Coffeyville back in February of 2020. That's when Lee was found dead at a Parsons, Kansas motel. Authorities were called for a potential overdose, but the autopsy indicated that there was foul play. Police officers' body cam captured a rescue of an elderly man from a rigid Missouri creek. It was 37 degrees outside when Clay County, Missouri deputies got the call that an 81-year-old man has accidentally driven off 33 highway and was struck in icy water. A Good Samaritan saw the man run off the road, called 911, and then helped to get the man to safety. This happened on November 17th, but it's getting attention now because the sheriff's office posted this video and praised the heroism of the Good Samaritan Quentin Conaway. Reports of a domestic disturbance draws Parsons Police Department to the 1100 block of the South 26th Street. Dispatch advised the suspect Joshua Cole Sharp has fled the scene. When officers arrived, they received a description of a brown Chevy pickup being driven by the suspect. Authorities spotted the vehicle and a lone occupant matching Sharp. They followed the vehicle and tried to initiate a traffic stop. The vehicle fled at a high rate of speed, failing to stop at all intersections. The truck attempted to turn east onto East Gabriel Avenue, but left the road and struck a tree on the westbound side of the road. The police believe that Sharp jumped from the truck and fled on foot. A search of the area using canines failed to locate the suspect. If you have any information regarding Sharp's location or spot him, the Parsons PD encourages you to call them at 620-421-7060. The Miami Civic Center is hosted in the annual Miami Roadshow Shopping Day. The event gives individuals an opportunity to get some Christmas shopping done under one roof, although local boutiques and vendors.
I think that this is our first time in Miami, so we don't really know what to expect. But I can tell you that we were pretty blessed. He came by, the mayor, and invited us to do the Heritage Days. So we will have the whole Civic Center full for the Heritage Days.
Events on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. While many people still take part in Black Friday, there's another shopping trend in this country, Small Business Saturday, and it's growing in popularity. The Carthage Chamber of Commerce encouraged the community to shop at local small businesses on Saturday. More than 20 local small businesses participated with discounts, free gifts, and more.
Knows that small businesses, they really employ a large force throughout the nation. Here in Carthage on the square, being a small business is hometown service. The customers come through the door. We not only know their name, but we generally know the project they're working on.
Shoppers can collect 15 stamps from visiting small business and can turn those stamps into Carthage Commerce for enter to a prize drawing. And the holiday shopping season isn't over yet, as Cyber Monday means great deals without ever having to leave the comfort of your own home. But it also means cyber scams. Since the COVID pandemic started, more and more people are shopping online. The Better Business Bureau wants to remind people to stay safe and avoid getting scammed while shopping online. Pamela Hernandez, the regional director for Better Business Bureau, says a recent study found online shopping fraud is up 87%, and about 36% of the online shopping fraud, based on what customers have told them, originates from fake websites. Hernandez advises people to look for red flags such as missing contact information and not secured websites. Businesses can also be looked up on the BBB's Business Search website.
If you're in the middle of a transaction and something just feels off, you can go to bbb.org/scam tracker and put in the URL, put in the phone number, put in an email address, and see if other people are reporting that activity as a scam or fraudulent.
The Better Business Bureau reminds people to be mindful when scrolling social media ads and to remember to take time and do their research before clicking buy. Coming up later in the show, our very own Yana Hatila takes us in a closer look at Cyber Monday and ways to avoid potential scams when shopping online.
Sunrise today, 7:10 a.m. Sunset tonight will be 5:02. Now for that 7 days. So we warm up to 64 tomorrow, maybe a stray shower or two. So that's what the front doesn't do for us. What it does do for us, look at the low, 25 degrees tomorrow, only 40 on Wednesday. We start to recover heading into the weekend, but as we recover, we're watching increasing rain chances this weekend as well.
That's a look at today's morning's top stories and the weather in your first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, after a recent string of deadly mass shootings, Americans once again turn to elected officials for solutions. But is bipartisan agreement is the issue and possibly this time around?
Plus, following one of those high-profile mass shootings, one of the heroes in the Club Q shooting reopens his bar and the community turns out to show its support.
And finding a safe space for pet owners to grieve the loss of a furry family member can help them through the process. We got the details. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. More gun violence struck America over this weekend, this time in New Orleans and downtown Atlanta. Meanwhile, Democrats and Republicans are addressing the issue of gun safety in the wake of mass shootings this month in Colorado and Virginia that left behind a trail of death and grief. But as Kristen Evanes reports from Miami, the parties are not seeing eye to eye.
In New Orleans early Sunday, police say a gunman opened fire on a crowd in the city's French Quarter, injuring multiple people. In Atlanta, a dispute between a large group of young people escalated into a shooting Saturday night, leaving a 12-year-old dead and several injured.
Again, we see guns in the hands of angry individuals, leading to a tragic outcome.
The incidents follow yet more deadly mass shootings that have renewed the national debate over gun safety.
We have to visit these laws and do what's necessary to keep these guns out of the hands of people who should not have them.
In the aftermath of the tragic attacks at an LGBTQ club in Colorado and a Virginia Walmart, President Biden said he wants to institute an assault weapons ban.
The idea we still allow semi-automatic weapons to be purchased is sick. It's just sick.
You know, the number one priority with respect to crime in America for Republicans is going to be the fentanyl crisis. Now, that's going to be the top priority for Republicans come January.
Just over a week after the rampage at Club Q left 5 people dead, victims of mass shootings from around the U.S. gathered in Colorado Springs. They spoke about the help mass shooting survivors need and demanded accountability from nonprofit groups to ensure funds go to the people most in need. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
According to the Gun Violence Archive, there has been 615 mass shootings in the U.S. so far this year. Mass shootings also surpassed 600 in 2020 and 2021. That's a look at one of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got gusty winds building in, so they'll be 15, 20 miles an hour this afternoon. They'll build to 30 as we head into the late evening hours, and overnight, look at this, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts late tonight heading into tomorrow morning. So do not inflate your inflatables outside tonight, and also make sure your trash can is secure. Now, in addition to that, we're dealing with dense fog across the area as well. We've got some dense fog advisories as we head into northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas through 9 a.m. As you can see, still some patchy dense fog across the area, so as you're driving, give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. Cold start to the day, 32 in Joplin with a calm wind and otherwise clear skies aside from the fog. 30 Neodesha, 28 Pittsburgh, 32 Lamar Carthage, 31 Miami, and 32 in Anderson. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looks good. Green light for your morning drive. We got that patchy fog. Otherwise, we're mostly clear, and a green light for the drive home. While the winds will be a bit gusty, it won't be as bad as it's about to get as we head into tonight. Kids getting on the bus this morning. We're looking at 34 at 7 a.m., and we'll be up to about 56 by the time they get home. Mostly clear skies in both situations. Heading for highs in the mid-50s today, with mostly clear skies. As we go to tonight, an early low of 44, and then the temperatures will gradually warm up overnight. Clouds increase overnight, and the winds increase overnight as well. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Richard Fierro is one of 2 people who took down the accused Club Q shooter in Colorado Springs. They're credited with saving lives in the shooting, which killed 5 people. Fierro owns a local brewery, which opened its doors on Friday for the first time since the attack. People showed up in droves to support the man who many now call a hero. Barbara Fox reports.
I will support him as long as he's open.
An unwavering amount of support.
This brave man in here, he deserves all the respect that he can get for just coming out and loving the community and then helping the people in the community right where he was at the right time.
Lines out the door, waiting to grab a beer from Richard Fierro's family business.
Anytime somebody does what everybody needs to do, and then you ask them, oh, you're a hero, and they say, no, I'm not, I'm just doing what people need to do, you support them. You make sure that his business thrives.
People even traveling all across the state.
How long did you guys drive?
A couple hours.
Some saying it is necessary for them to come and support the man they call a hero.
He saved a lot of people's lives. You know, he could have been killed. And that's why we're here, to support his business.
Fierro himself telling us he's humbled beyond belief, seeing the amount of supporters.
I appreciate it, I really do.
Everybody does this every day. You have to put on your pants and go to work, and regardless of what's going on around you, you got to get it done. Hopefully there's some blessings that come along with this thing, because it's very ugly and it's not something anybody ever wants to go through.
Now, the accused Club Q shooter is being held without bond. He's due in court on December the 6th. We had some really windy conditions building into the area. We'll have gusts later this afternoon, say 15, 20 miles an hour. And as we head into the evening hours, wind gusts start to pick up around 30 miles an hour. And that's not even the peak of it. As we go into the overnight and early tomorrow morning, we have wind gusts out of the south at about 50 miles an hour. So first off, make sure your trash can is secure. Second, if you're like me, you've got a couple of inflatables in your yard, make sure that you do not blow them up tonight because they may not make it through the night. Dense fog advisories in northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas until 9 o'clock. It's because we're still dealing with some patchy dense fog across the area. As you can see, some locations in southeast Kansas are okay, but Pittsburgh down to a mile visibility, Grove at 4, Miami at 6.8, Joplin reporting 5.1 visibility. So make sure you give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. Aside from the fog, we are clear and cold, 32 in Joplin and cold across the region as well. 32 Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, 28 Nevada, 32 Neosho, Anderson, and 31 back in Miami. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. We got a green light for the morning drive. Do be aware of the patchy fog. We're otherwise mostly clear in the 30s, and a green light for the drive home as we will be mostly clear and in the 40s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, not too bad, but a little chilly. 34 degrees at 7 a.m. When they get home around 3, we're looking at 56 with mostly clear skies, and the winds start picking up. Highs today in the mid-50s. Will be mostly clear across the area, and then as we head into tonight, wind increases, temperatures will slowly increase, and clouds increase. An early low of 44. As I mentioned, temperatures will slowly rise towards sunrise, and so will the clouds. They'll increase as well. 64 tomorrow. The cold front tomorrow doesn't do much for us precipitation-wise, maybe a stray shower or two. Then we drop back down to a low of 25 tomorrow night, only 40 on Wednesday. We start to recover in our temperatures, and as we do, we watch increasing rain chances heading into the weekend. Be back right after this with health. We'll be right back after this, but first, here's a live look from downtown Frontenac.
Topping Health Watch this morning, 2 studies involving 8,000 elementary school students in Ethiopia assessed the fallout from the pandemic school closures. One found children lost a third of an academic year in lockdown. A second analysis found social and emotional development were severely ruptured among some of the world's poorest children. Kids were less confident talking to each other and found it harder to get along. Promising early results of an experimental vaccine to protect against a possible flu pandemic. Scientists at the University of Pennsylvania test a vaccine made from all of the known influenza subtypes using the same mRNA technology as the Pfizer and Moderna COVID vaccines. The study shows the vaccine triggers a quick memory immune response that can adapt to new viral strains. And removing the stigma for grieving pet owners can help them heal after losing a companion animal. A new review in the Journal of Human-Animal Interaction suggests group counseling, in-person or online chat rooms can be a safe space to validate the grief and process the loss of a pet. Public health officials are bracing what could become another post-Thanksgiving surge of flu and COVID cases. Devin Finley shows what doctors say you should do if you feel a little under the weather after Thanksgiving.
Public health officials stress the importance of testing at the first sign of feeling sick. There are different treatments, they say, for COVID and the flu that, if taken early, can prevent serious illness.
For influenza, it's Tamiflu. For COVID, of course, it's Paxlovid if you're eligible, if you're older, immune compromised. But Tamiflu can work for pretty much all age groups.
Public health officials had warned ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday of a potential perfect storm of 3 respiratory viruses, COVID, the flu, and RSV, which affects primarily children. In fact, the strain on the hospital system and pediatric wards in particular was so great that healthcare workers set up emergency tents outside the hospital as a precaution.
I think if you look at all around the country, they're telling a similar story of just at the limit of capacity for pediatric hospitals.
And even if you manage to make it through the Thanksgiving holiday without getting sick, doctors are still urging the public to get a flu shot and a COVID booster. There is no vaccine currently available for RSV, and parents of young children will have to remain vigilant.
Watch out for 2 warning symptoms for kids. Number 1, difficulty breathing. That might just be wheezing or use of extra muscles to breathe. And then number 2, dehydration, fatigue, listlessness.
There's still a long way to go in this cold and flu season, doctors say. They haven't needed those extra tents outside the hospital yet, and pray they never will.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've got a pretty cold start to our day today, even some patchy, dense fog to deal with. 32 in Joplin right now, and it is cold across the area. We've got 30 Neodesha, 25 Parsons, 29 Pittsburgh, 32 Lamar and Carthage, and 31 in Miami. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline. Looks good. A green light for your morning drive. Watch out for the patchy fog. Otherwise, we're mostly clear in the 30s. Green light for the drive home. Could see wind gusts upwards of about 15, 20 miles an hour. Otherwise, mostly clear and in the 40s. Kids getting on the bus this morning will need the coat to begin with, 34 degrees, and then they can put that coat back in their backpack as we're 56 by 3 o'clock. We're looking at highs in the low to mid 50s across the region with mostly clear skies as we go through the rest of the day. And tonight we hit an early low of 44. Temperatures slowly rise through the evening. Clouds increase and winds increase as well. We could see wind gusts tonight 30 miles an hour and then up towards of 50 miles an hour. So we head into Tuesday. 64, maybe a stray shower. Cold though after that front passes through. 25, only 40 on Wednesday. We have a slow recovery into the weekend, and we watch additional rain chances by the weekend as well. We're back with more right after this.
Right now at 6:30, authorities rescue an elderly man from a rigid Missouri Creek, and the body camera footage shows the dramatic details.
We are somewhat calm to start our day today, but we've got some big changes on the way. We're going to break them all down coming up.
Also today closes out the holiday shopping weekend with Cyber Monday, but be aware of online scams. KOAM's very own Yana Hatala talks to the Better Business Bureau about ways you can protect yourself while shopping online.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:30. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So a cold start to the day, and we've got some significant changes coming to our weather forecast here in the next, say, 36 hours. Let's start with the wind. As we go into this afternoon, we're going to see wind gusts maybe 15, 20 miles an hour. As we head into the evening hours and overnight, they start to increase. By 8 o'clock, the gusts are pushing 30, and as we head overnight and into tomorrow morning, look at this, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts out of the south. So make sure your trash can is secure and do not inflate your outdoor inflatables for Christmas tonight because they will probably not make it through the night. Skywatch Storm Tracker's calm. The only thing it gets to show us right now is a dense fog advisory. Northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas runs until 9 this morning. That's because we are still dealing with patchy dense fog. Look at Pittsburgh, 0.2 miles is what the visibility is. So please slow down. Give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. 7th and range line looking pretty good so far. 32 in Joplin. Aside from some fog, we are clear. And that's how it is across the 4 states. 30 Neodesha, 25 in Parsons, 31 Chetopa, Miami, 32 Neosho, and 31 in Monette. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline looking good. Green light for your morning drive. Do be aware of that patchy fog that's out there. And the green light for your drive home, because while the winds will be gusting upwards 15, 20, as you saw on the wind tracker, that's not going to be nearly as bad as they are going to get. Kids getting on the bus this morning will need that coat. 34 degrees and mostly clear skies, and they can put the coat in the backpack. It will be about 56 by 3 o'clock today. Heading for highs in lower to mid 50s under mostly clear skies, so a pretty decent day for us. As we head to tonight, we'll have an early low of 44, and then temperatures will start to slowly rise through the overnight hours, and as they do, clouds will increase and the wind will increase. We're going to talk about what this system is going to do for us tomorrow and what it's not going to do for us tomorrow here in just a couple of minutes.
Well, thank you, Chris. That sounds good. A police officer body camera captured the rescue of an elderly man from a frigid Missouri Creek. It was 37 degrees outside when Clay County, Missouri deputies got the call that an 81-year-old man had accidentally driven of 33 highway and struck in the icy water. A Good Samaritan saw the man run off the road, called 911, then helped to get the man to safety. This happened on November 17th, but it's getting attention now because the sheriff's office has posted this video and praised the heroism of the Good Samaritan, Quentin Conaway. Four staters who didn't get out for the Black Friday sales got one more chance in Carthage. Saturday marked Small Business Saturday. Local area chambers of commerce and the Small Business Administration promote the day after Black Friday as a time to celebrate and support local small businesses and restaurants, all they do for communities. KOAM found some shoppers in Pittsburgh who aren't waiting for to show their love for their local retailers.
I love just walking up and down Broadway Street, holding hands with my beautiful wife, going into Jock's Niche, love spending time in there. Love Root, we love Brick and Mortar, Drop the H, Jolly Fox, what's there not to like? It's great, baby.
I think the ability to see the downtown full of shoppers and people around the Christmas holiday, I think you end up running into people that you know, and it gives it a real sense of community around just the shopping experience.
You can find more information on local businesses at KOAMnewsnow.com. And speaking of shopping, Cyber Monday is here. Take advantage of those great deals, but don't let online predators take advantage of you. The Better Business Bureau wants to remind people to stay safe and avoid getting scammed while shopping online. KOAM's Yanta Hatala has more.
The ad can look exactly like one of those big box retailer stores.
It takes you to a very good lookalike website. You purchase from, again, a brand that you think you know and trust, tell you to pick up your delivery curbside, you show up, there's no merchandise, and then the scammer has your credit card information.
Something, a deal or a cool gadget that gets your attention.
Shopping from that emotional place, we don't always slow down long enough to do our research.
Since the COVID pandemic started, more and more people are shopping online. Pamela Hernandez, Regional Director for Better Business Bureau, says a recent study found online shopping fraud is up 87%.
What we know is about 36% of online shopping fraud, based on what consumers tell us, originates from fake websites.
Hernandez says a lot of online scams seem to also happen to young people.
The most vulnerable, or the age group that is losing money at a higher rate, is 18 to 24, and their average loss is about $100.
It can all happen in a blink of an eye, and scammers can get a lot of information about you.
If it's going to be delivered, you are providing them with a shipping address. You're providing them with your credit card information, phone number. That's the kind of information that someone can get. And once they have your credit card number, of course, that's where people can start to lose money.
If a website does not have any contact information or it's not secure, it is a red flag. Hernandez recommends looking up the business and their customer reviews on the BBB website.
When you see an accredited business with BBB, you know that that business has agreed to uphold the BBB standards of trust. So transparency, doing, advertising truthfully.
Hernandez advises people to use their credit cards when they can while shopping online. Venmo or Zelle do not offer the same protection as credit cards.
They do have procedures in place to help you dispute a fraudulent transaction and have a better chance of getting your money back for you.
The Better Business Bureau wants people to remember to take their time and do their research before clicking buy. They also say to be mindful when scrolling social media ads. Which brings us to our question, how much do you plan to spend on Cyber Monday?
Yeah, is it 0 to 50 bucks, 50 to 100, 100 to 200, 200 or more? So far, 89% of you say you're going to be spending light, 0 to 50 bucks. 11% of you, though, say you're going to be spending 200 bucks or more. So if you're buying anything online, as we just told you, make sure you do your research before you just click that buy thing. Because I did that once on eBay. There was a laptop for sale. It was a decent looking laptop, looked all right. I just straight up bought it. When it arrived, it was in Russian. Windows was pirated on it, and it did not function very well, and it took me a while to fix it.
Lesson learned.
Yeah,
lesson
I mean,
learned.
thankfully I knew what to do to fix it, but still, it was disappointing when I got the thing. So do be careful when you're shopping online. All right, do be careful as you head into tomorrow. 50-mile-an-hour wind gust, maybe a stray shower. The front takes our temperature from 64 for a high to 25 for a low. And then Wednesday, we're only 40. As we head through the rest of the week, as you can see, we start to warm up. And as we do, we also watch increasing rain chances. So we're still getting some rain chances, and we definitely need the rain here in the 4 states.
That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Holiday spending is back as Cyber Monday. Sales are expected to top $11 billion. This following Black Friday's $9 billion shopping spree.
Plus, we're going to take another look at your breezy forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. But first, here's another live look at lights from front.
In Consumer Watch this morning, the holiday shopping season has officially kicked off with consumers spending more than $9 billion online on Black Friday, according to Adobe Analytics. Electronics and toy purchases helped drive the record sales. Adobe, which tracks online retail purchases, estimates that today's Cyber Monday shopping sales will exceed $11 billion. If you're one of the millions who have made purchases over the holiday weekend, you may want to check your receipt to see how long you have to make a return. 6 out of the 10 retailers recently said they're changing their policies this season, according to a survey by GOTRG, which many are shortening the amount of time consumers are allowed to make returns. Some of the retailers are also adding return and restocking fees. And one Florida woman is turning up the heat on Kraft Heinz Company. She's filed a $5 million class action lawsuit claiming that the company's Velveeta shells and cheese microwave cups have taken longer than the recommended 3.5 minutes to prepare. If you include ripping off the lid and adding water, the company called the lawsuit, quote, frivolous, in the statement to the Washington Post. Travelers face delays at airports and on the roads this holiday weekend. AAA estimate that has nearly 55 million Americans would hit the road, rail, or air for Thanksgiving, making this year the third busiest since the company started back keeping track in 2000. On Saturday alone, the TSA screened more than 2.2 million people. Naomi Rosham has more.
Severe weather was primarily to blame for more than 6,000 flight delays and cancellations nationwide yesterday alone, according to FlightAware. New York, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. were among the worst hit.
Every single flight has been delayed. The weather is not the best, but we're working with it.
Andy Tim Bond said his trip from Dallas to spend Thanksgiving with relatives in the D.C. region was more expensive than previous years. He calls it a new normal.
The price of traveling and going to everything is definitely worth the family times.
With a song and a few fist bumps, one airport worker in Philadelphia kept passengers entertained as they passed through long security lines.
Flight doesn't board for another hour, but I had to be here extra early just in case.
AAA expects when the final numbers are tallied, this year's Thanksgiving travel will have been on par with pre-pandemic levels, with more than 54 million Americans trekking more than 50 miles away from home. The bulk of those travelers hit packed roads.
We make this trip about once a year for Thanksgiving, and it's pretty typical to see this every time.
AAA also expects travel to continue into this week, with more Americans now working remotely. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
AAA says it expects not only a busy winter holiday season, but also an explosion next year in what's calling revenge travel. Americans making up for the lost time on the road by spending more money on vacations and traveling farther from home. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
We got a pretty nice sunrise, even though it's really cold outside, but look at these colors, just absolutely gorgeous. 32 degrees in Joplin, still dealing with patchy fog across the area, so be aware of that. We got 26 Chanute, 25 Parsons, 28 Pittsburgh, 32 Lamar Carthage, 31 in Miami. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline. Looks good so far. Got a green light for your morning drive. Be aware of the patchy fog. Otherwise, we're mostly clear in the 30s. We got a green light for after your afternoon drive as we'll be mostly clear and in the 40s. Winds could gust upwards of about 15-20 miles an hour, but that's nothing compared to what they're going to do later. 34 when the kids get on the bus. When they come back home around 3, we're looking at 56. Highs in lower to mid-50s today. Those mostly clear skies. We hit an early low of 44 degrees, and then clouds increase. Temperatures gradually warm towards sunrise, and winds pick up. We're looking at gusts upwards of 50 miles an hour as we head into the overnight, so do not inflate your Christmas inflatables. That's the best advice I can give you for tonight. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Specialist Michael Shaw. The Fort Scott, Kansas native served in Iraq as a part of the 891st Engineer Battalion, Company A. To Specialist Michael Shaw, we thank you, today's four-state hero.
Time for some Monday birthdays, and we begin with Parker Rose Lowe, turning 1 today. Very happy birthday, Parker, and this comes with love from Mama, Daddy, Grammy, and Grampy.
Parsley Abbott, she is turning 4 years old in Iola.
We've got Grady Good celebrating birthday number 5 in Parsons.
We got Caden Campbell in Parsons, turning 9.
And the party celebration continues in Parsons with Aiden Wells turning 10 on Sunday. Happy belated birthday, Aiden.
Anson Olivia Finley is in Girard, and Saturday was the birthday.
And we've got Lila Inez Ohm turning 15 in McCune. A very happy birthday to you, Lila.
Andrew Colberly turning 20 in Columbus, Kansas.
And we've got Liberty Moore celebrating birthday number 20 in Galena, and she's pictured there with her proud dad. A very happy birthday to you, Liberty.
Crystal Hawkins turning 37 in Galena, Kansas.
And we've got Scott Ford celebrating birthday number 41 with the catch of the day in Chanute.
And we got Bruce Thornton turning 58 in Thayer.
And Tony Irwin celebrating birthday number 65 in Carthage. A very happy birthday, Tony.
Christine Coran is turning 90 in Alamut, Kansas. All right.
And Romy Phillips celebrating birthday number 88 in Moundville. And Romy's birthday was on Friday, so a happy belated birthday to you, Romy.
We got Jeff York turning 61 in Lawton, Kansas.
Carol Saporito celebrating birthday number 76 in Weir.
And Jim Volligan turning 77 in Christine, Kansas.
And Mary Griffith wrapping up the list in Badger, Kansas with a birthday. And of course, if you'd like to submit us a birthday, because we'd love to see this list grow, Amber's going to tell you how you do it.
And you can just do that by sending an email to birthdays@koamtv.com or birthdays@koamnewsnow.com.
And why don't you head over to our website later today, if you're bored at work or something like that. Check out KOAMnewsnow.com, click on the mornings page, and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You get some excellent deals from local businesses and a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So head over to KOAMnewsnow.com, click on the mornings page, and sign up for the Birthday Club today. All right. Windy day is coming. As we go through the afternoon, winds will be gusting at about 15 to 20 miles an hour. However, as we head into the evening hours, winds start to pick up, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. And we go overnight and into tomorrow morning, we've got south winds gusting upwards of 50 miles an hour. And these wind gusts are going to build in as we head into the early overnight hours as well. So if you have Christmas inflatables, unplug them. Make sure they do not turn on tonight because they will probably not survive the night. Also, make sure your trash can is secured so it does not end up next door. Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear. However, it's showing us some dense fog advisories northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas that run until 9 o'clock. That's because we do have some patchy dense fog out there. Pittsburgh, Crawford County, parts of Barton County, and northern Cherokee County have really been seeing some of the worst of this as they're down to 0.2 miles visibility in Pittsburgh. So do give yourself plenty of time if you're traveling across the area. Look at this sunrise. Take a second. Let that soak in. enjoy it from this view because it is cold outside. 32 degrees in Joplin right now. Cold across the region as we start our day. 32 Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Lamar, Carthage. 29 Nevada, 28 Pittsburgh, 31 in Miami, and 32 down in Neosho. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. Looks good. Green light for your morning drive. We just want to remind you to watch out for that patchy fog. We're otherwise mostly clear in the 30s, and a green light for the drive home as we are mostly clear and in the 40s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, they're going to need their coat. 34 degrees, mostly clear. Winds pick up a little bit this afternoon, and they can put their coat in their backpack. As you can see, 56 is where we'll be. Highs in lower to mid 50s for most of us under those mostly clear skies, so a pretty pleasant day. And then tonight, we had an early overnight low of 44, and then temperatures will slowly rise through the evening, and as they, or the overnight rather, and as they do so, clouds increase and wind increases as we head into that 1, 2 o'clock time slot. Yeah, we're talking those wind gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour, just 50 miles an hour, but still incredible nonetheless. 7:10 for the sunrise, 5:02 for the sunset. Cold front tomorrow, that's ahead of this wind, and this is why. 64 will be our high, maybe a stray shower or two. That cold front knocks us down to 25 degrees tomorrow night. We only make it to 40 on Wednesday. As we head through the rest of the week, not bad. We start to warm up, and then we see increasing rain chances. And then take a look at this. Temperatures rise again. Another system next Monday with more rain, and it really knocks our temperatures down. 36 next Tuesday, 30 next Wednesday. Overnight low, look at that, 19 degrees. So we get absolutely frigid. So another warm up, and then it's just another roller coaster ride on these temperatures following our next rain system. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A judge sentences a Coffeyville, Kansas man for second-degree murder. Donald Collins gets 18 years in prison for the death of 50-year-old Nina Lee of Coffeyville back in February of 2020. That's when Lee was found dead at a Parsons, Kansas motel. Authorities were called there for a report of a potential overdose, but an autopsy indicated that there was foul play. Cyber Monday is here. It's always good to watch for red flags when shopping online. The Better Business Bureau wants to remind people to stay safe and avoid getting scammed while shopping online. While the COVID pandemic started, more and more people are shopping online. Pamela Hernandez, the regional director of Better Business Bureau, says a recent study found online shopping fraud is up 87%. And about 36% of those shopping frauds are based on what customers have told them originates from fake websites. She advised people to look for any red flags before purchasing so their information does not get into the wrong hands. The city of Frontenac celebrated the beginning of the holiday season with a Christmas light ceremony. The city lit up downtown Frontenac with a special ceremony yesterday. Citizens were able to listen to the elementary, junior high, and high school choirs as they lit up the downtown lights. Following the choir and Frontenac Raider Band's performance, citizens were able to meet Santa Claus himself with Mrs. Claus. Residents were also offered hot cocoa and cookies. Seth Nutt says it takes a couple months to plan the yearly event. And the Pittsburgh Wrestling Club is raising money for the club as the sport is becoming booming in the city. The nonprofit Pittsburgh Wrestling Club launched its fundraiser for high school and youth wrestling club yesterday. This year, the club is selling popcorn or lawn for Christmas. President of the club says the fundraiser is a way for the clubs to raise money and take care of the athletes. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And the forecast as you head out the door, winds could gust about 15-20 miles an hour this afternoon. Will be mostly clear, temperatures hovering around the mid-50s, but as we go into tonight, wind gusts will increase late this evening to 30, and as we go into the overnight, say 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, wind gusts start picking up to 50 miles an hour. We're dropping back down to 44. Temperatures will slowly rise through the evening. Clouds will also increase along with those winds. As we look into tomorrow, we've got that cold front, not a lot of rain with it, 64, but it does get us down to 25, 40 on Wednesday, and we start to recover by the end of the week with additional rain chances as we head into the weekend. And just one point of advice, if you've got Christmas inflatables, do not turn them on tonight because they will probably not survive the night.
Definitely. Coming up today at noon, we're making Mom's Kitchen soup in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. We're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at what happens after you click buy online and what to expect this holiday season. That's ahead on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, it's time to get your game on in Joplin, as we got Tim Tibbles heading into the studio to talk about JOMO GameCon.
Plus, Kelly Redden from Inspire Your Creativity stopping by to tell us about a gingerbread house contest. But that's our time for now. We'll see you back here at noon.
And we'll see you today at noon.